What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster, and somebody has got to ask the question, if the Disney company is doing so well like they try to claim, then why is Bob Iger abandoning ship? A report has just come out that Mr. Iger himself is selling off a ton of Disney stocks. And the timing is quite interesting considering that Bob Iger's showdown with Nelson Peltz for the soul of the company is about a month away. I know that a lot of Disney apologists out there like to point at the current stock price as evidence that Bob Iger and Disney are doing swell. But take a look at what the last 5 years have looked like for Disney stock prices. Right about here is when they started the first stage of effing around and finding out. Now we're here, still smack dab in the middle of finding out. People are celebrating what amounts to a minuscule jump as if it's proof that Disney is fixed. But once again, I'll ask the question, why would Bob Iger get rid of his stock in the company if he was confident in the direction that it's going? It's absolutely jaw-dropping how many of these shares that he's gotten rid of. Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But let's pop this article open from the website Inside the Magic to see what Bob Iger is up to with his investment in the company. Usually, this website is just a bunch of almost unreadable shilling for Disney, but not so much this time. The headline says, Disney CEO Bob Iger quietly dumps company stock before billionaire showdown. And then the article reads, Disney CEO Bob Iger has been loudly proclaiming that the iconic media corporation is currently on the upswing and rebounding from years of box office flops and controversies, which raises a question. Why is he selling off hundreds of shares of Disney stock? Alright, I have to interject a bit here. If someone sells off hundreds of shares, that's a decent amount of money, but it isn't news. However, selling off hundreds of thousands of shares is news, and that's what we're looking at here. I don't know if this was a typo or if it was a deliberate attempt by Inside the Magic to cover up the truth, but saying that Iger is selling off only hundreds of shares is a wild understatement, as you will see in a minute here. Anyhow, the Walt Disney Company is currently in something of a crisis mode, as its board of directors faces an aggressive campaign by billionaire investor Nelson Peltz, who is supported by former Marvel Entertainment chair and longtime Iger rival Ike Perlmutter and former CFO Jay Rasulo, who are attempting to seize a control block of seats. Similarly, Blackwell's Capital, another investment group, is doing the same. In the midst of all that, shareholders and the public at large are wondering if and when Bob Iger has any plans to leave the Walt Disney Company, the organization at which he has spent most of his professional life and is widely associated with. While Iger can only say it is a priority to replace him, the fact that he is rapidly dumping Disney stock, even as he claims to be looking toward the future, might hint that he actually has some plans afoot.
Exactamundo.
In my opinion, that's the only thing that makes sense. Why would someone in Bob Iger's position sell off the vast majority of his stock? He has plans, and he knows something that we don't know. Just like all of those politicians out there who make the perfect moves on the stock market constantly because they have inside information, I think old Bobby here knows that something bad is about to go down. I can only speculate as to what that is. If you have any good ideas about what that might be, then let me know in the comment section. But yeah, he either knows something about the direction that Disney is going, or he expects that he's going to lose this proxy war against Nelson Peltz and the Trian Group. Because we are talking about the majority of $100 million that he has dumped from Disney. But let's keep reading. Bob Iger is one of the largest individual shareholders of the Walt Disney Company, along with former CFO Christine M. McCarthy, Disney General Counsel Alan N. Braverman, and the aforementioned Ike Perlmutter. However, records show that over the course of the last 12 months, Iger has sold off some 80% of his stock. Although these are not officially verified numbers, as of a year ago, it was reported that the Disney CEO owned approximately 1,030,000 shares of Disney stock. Currently, he owns some 204,899. That is a pretty massive sell-off, and while Iger is not obligated to explain what he is doing with his own assets, it raises some eyebrows. Alright, let's do the math. We're going to assume that those numbers of his shares are correct, or at least close to correct. That means he has gotten rid of approximately 825,101 shares. Collectively today, those shares would be worth just shy of $90 million. The article then concludes by saying perhaps it does not mean that Bob Iger is finally preparing to depart the Walt Disney Company again. Perhaps his army of accountants has its own reasons for moving money around, even as he promises that the company is ready to become a financial powerhouse again. But still, that's a lot of stock. Like I said, usually the guys at Inside the Magic are a bunch of corporate ass-kissers who never say anything against their precious corporate overlords, but there really is no spinning this story. I think it's clear that Bob Iger has some sort of an exit strategy. His time is coming to a close as the leader of Disney, and I can't imagine a world where they put his dumb, woke ass in charge for a third time, so he's bowing out. Once again, I imagine Iger knows a lot more than we do about Disney. I can think of 3 reasons that he'd move this money around, and all 3 of those reasons would precipitate his leaving the company in the near to semi-near future. Are you ready? Here are my thoughts. The first possibility is he expects something bad to happen that tanks the stock. Considering that we are talking about Disney, that could be just about anything. Under his reign, they are consummate screw-ups at damn near everything they do. The second reason I can think of for Iger selling his shares is because he expects Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo to be put on the Disney board of directors, and he expects to lose his spot as CEO. And considering the size of his ego, he wouldn't want anything to do with Disney after that. Even if Nelson Peltz knocked it out of the park and doubled the value of the company, I believe Iger is the sort of guy who wouldn't want to be a part of it. The third and final reason I can think of that would prompt Mr. Iger to sell off $90 million worth of Disney stock is that he intends to put those funds into a financial option that he believes will perform better than Disney over the next few years. Considering that Disney has wildly underperformed versus the rest of the market over the past several years, it could be damn near anything that he's planning to invest in. And if he's correct and Disney continues to underperform, then certainly the company would move on from him. But I'll leave it there. What do you guys think? Why did Bob Iger drain out the vast majority of his Disney shares? Drop your thoughts down below and we will discuss it from there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.